Long story time. Okay, so here we go. I am learning just how compounded my protective measures are in my own life. And I talk about the different levels of growth, and I talk about how you make it through one level and then there's another thing waiting for you. And this is just another example of that. So I am learning that because of the things that I've gone through in life, my ability to open up and to express love and my true feelings for someone, and I mean this for anybody across the board, family, friends, intimate partners, I hesitate to tell someone I like you. I hesitate to tell them why I like them. I hesitate to tell someone that I love them and why I love them. Now, what's interesting is that when I do, I am very clear with my words. And I know that my words have, they have these, they make a big impact. We all have different set of skills. I know that mine's is in the creative flow of my words. My visions, the way that I see things is very creative. I look at trees and I can hear different patterns and see different things and I see beauty. So this is also the way that I am able to use my words. But when it becomes something that feels like it's exposing me and putting me in what I have conditioned myself to believe is harm's way by showing a person my care, where I care, because if someone hits me where I care, that's a vulnerable spot. I shut down, and it's very difficult for me to express that verbally. I can do things for a person and help out and be very, very useful to them. But to hug, kiss, physical touch makes me so nervous because I feel that through that you are going to sense the depths of my energy. And if you do, my mind goes to I'm going to be hurt. Being in an active state of trying to undo that takes a lot of work. And at the start of it, it is very scary and uncomfortable because the things that I remember telling myself, like I'm years in on practice of this, but I'm always amazed that when I hit another level and I'm like, oh chick, you struggling there too? Come on now. You done been doing this for years. Just get this together. So that's why I'm making this video now. In the earlier stages of me stepping outside of my comfort zone, some of the things that I was experiencing was thoughts of, if I do, I am automatically going to be hurt. And my narrative was strong. My story was strong. I had scenarios on. If they know that you care, they're going to exploit that. If they know that you care, they're going to look at you as weak and they're going to take advantage of you. If they know that you care, they're going to think they're not going to give you their best self because they already know you care, so why bother? If they know you care, and I just had a running list. And because I had that running list, what I would do is put an action in place to protect me from each one of those thoughts. So if you know I care and you're going to give me less than your best, then I'm going to put a checklist in place of all the things that you need to do before I even get to the point where I care. If you find out that I care and you run the risk of exploiting that and using me, I am going to put a checklist in place of all the things that I'm not doing for you, because I don't ever want you to think that you can take advantage of me because you care, because I care. And those things became so strong in my mind and so ingrained, and I felt empowered. I felt like the biggest badass because I'm like, yo, I won't be taken advantage of. I felt empowered by those things. 19,000 walls right there. Every checklist was a wall. Every I'm not, this won't was a wall. Bam, 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 bam. But here's the thing with walls. The more you put up walls, the block becomes further and further away from you. You put this big gap between you and the thing that you want, because I did want to care, but I didn't want to be hurt as a result of me caring. And so when I realized that my walls were not actually protection for me, they were actually keeping me from the things that I wanted, I had to try to peel them back. And it's easy to say, well, I'm not doing that again. And I tried that route. I was like, you know what? I am just going to be free. I'm going to be open. I'm just going to do this. And that's great. Yep. And then it gets to a point where you are experiencing something. One of my closest friends, this is like a sister to me. When I started to feel myself getting close to her and I wanted to call her friend, this is how bad I was. I couldn't even call a person a friend because I felt like if you thought that I saw you as a friend, that you would take advantage of me. And the further time went on, I would then feel like, well, it's been 2 years. And if I call you a friend now, you're going to think, oh, I really got her. Now I can be a piece of shit. Without realizing that, yo, this person ain't thinking about me and my walls. This person is just here because they love me and they're rocking with me. But I couldn't process that. My walls told me, don't do it. You're going to get hurt. So when I finally tried to strip away my barriers and I'm like, I'm just going to be open and free, it felt so awkward and unnatural to me. And I said the word friend, and in the moment, she was excited about it. She was like, what? You call me a friend? And I'm just like, don't do it. Immediately my walls went up because I saw the joy in her face and I thought, she's happy. Now her mind is going to turn into, I can use this to my advantage. And then I pulled back. So much for me being free and open. And what I realized in time is that I had to start challenging my thoughts not by ripping off the Band-Aid and saying, screw it, I'm just going to be open, but I had to transform the way that I saw each wall. And I started by saying, okay, so why did I throw sarcasm in her moment of happiness? What was I protecting myself from? And I had to answer the question. And I had to explore why I felt I needed protecting in that area, and then tell myself the only way for me to move past this is to continue to try and to see how each time I'm trying, I'm still safe. And that process takes a while. And there were moments where I didn't even really know how to go about it because I felt so paralyzed. But I persisted. And through the discomfort, I reached a point where now I'm like, okay, I see it in this area. I'm good. Now I'm flowing and I'm going. And I'm so comfortable now with establishing friendships that I can let people know, hey, trust is something that I struggle to give as freely. And so if you see X, Y, or Z from me, please understand this is why. So I'm giving people more of an understanding of me. I'm letting them in to my logic and the way that I think and the way that I process. I'm being more vulnerable because I care and I want to have relationships. And I also know that at the very same time, the best way to have a relationship is by being honest with all parts of me and putting who I am on the table to say, this is me. Because when a person comes into partnership and relationship with me, that is what they're going to get. And it's not to say that I'm using it as an excuse to say you get what you get. It's to say, hey, see me. And whoever stays now, I feel amazing because I know that they're here for me. And I'm actively working to experience greater depths of those relationships, not for them, but because it makes me feel good. And so I am continuing to try to work through the walls that I have and removing them one by one. Sometimes I'm in a great momentous stride and I can take 10 walls down at a time. But it started with the exploration of why they're there. And one action step towards doing the opposite and seeing I'm still standing. I share all this to say that in order to experience true transformation that leads to a happier, more fulfilled life, the kind of transformation that I talk about so much in my coaching practice, the kind of transformation that I work with my clients to achieve, in order to get there, it is going to take true self-acceptance, being seen. Bring yourself to the table and let's explore. I share this video with you explaining my steps because for those that are listening, especially if you made it to this point, you are definitely someone who is trying to move through the barriers that you've placed in your life to protect you. And so something in this resonated with you, something you may want to try. And the tips that I just gave is a starting point. If you're still listening, because you know at this point now, this is me getting ready to close, then you're really curious. And for you, I offer an opportunity to connect. Message me, comment below, and let me know if you're interested in working together to help transform the way that you see yourself. There is a level of happiness that exists on the inside of you that has been walled for so long that you've probably forgotten what it looks like. You've probably walled that at a point before you even truly got to experience how good it can be for you, just because of things that you experienced once or twice that hurt. Things that you saw other people go through that you never wanted to go through. Unhealed and unaddressed traumas. You've walled yourself. It's time to break free. Thanks for listening. Comment below, let me know your thoughts. And on that note, I am going to sign off. Never stop growing.